Hello and welcome back. We are continuing our great Qing run here in Victoria 3. Last episode we pulled up over $1 billion GDP, and so we're entering kind of the later portions of the game where, you know, the economy is going to get depressed, unemployment is going to rise, these sorts of things. Obviously we are going to try and combat that. We've been held pretty steady at around 9 million this entire time. Just kind of, we are playing the low infamy expansion type thing. This is the state of our market currently, and then let's just check out the Han pops, because a big part of our strategy has been exodusing, you see Han down here too, exodusing our pops that are unemployed into New World, which is, proving pretty effective here. We took a bunch of this dirt, mainly just so that our Han pops could leave and work in the sub farms over here as they get unemployed. If you see here, we have arable land. I guess there's not too much employed in the sub farms, but the idea is that they can move here and go to the sub farms rather than being unemployed in China, because China has no available sub farms. Now, we are continuing this run, so for example, ooh, this one does have available spots. Most of them don't, though. But for the most part, what we are going to be trying to do now is I really want to test out this idea with going for peasant levies at some point. Obviously can't do it right now, and, maybe this is a mistake for us to be... These guys will not get marginalized for us going to wealth voting, but we want to get on to parliamentary republic, but maybe the sequencing here is not very good, us going for wealth voting first. We're going to go for wealth voting. We cannot pass, since this guy's a jingoist, which is the funniest thing ever, because we almost always try and roll a jingoist. Since he's a jingoist, we actually can't try and pass peasant levies right now. So... And overall in this run, we've gotten pretty unlucky with our law pass ticks, and it has taken us quite a long time to get through laws. Like, we're super far behind on a whole bunch of things, but we do have 7k construction, so we find solace in the arms of our construction. Anyways, we will be unpausing and continuing this France war. We're going to need to quintuple land, it looks like, because our quad landing is about to fail here, but we can get that in pretty easy. Alright, so we started a play to annex Peru, Bolivia, and we have Great Britain join against us, which is fantastic because we've been wanting to, put the clap down on Great Britain for some time now. We can cut off all their Congo ingress, this sort of stuff, or like all of their South Africa. We also wanted to, free some people, this sort of thing, although we managed to free these guys and annex them. But like, this is disgusting. In particular, we wanted to free the Sikh Empire, but that's already been freed. But we can also free Canada up here, to try and pull in our customs union, this sort of thing. And so we're going to put some of these war goals in on them, where we are going to, I guess maybe we could transfer some of these subjects. True Shield States is going to have a lot of oil, but we are trying to stay low infamy, so none of these look spectacular except for Tripolitania. We might transfer Tripolitania. Look at this, they freaking have Krakow. That's just disgusting. This, like... But we're probably going to have them release Canada. So we're going to just put in Liberate Subject, and we're going to put it on Canada, because Canada is big. We maybe want to do the same for Australia. I don't think we have an interest in Australia, which is the reason we can't release them right now. We'll just slap down a bunch of interests everywhere, because I think we can cover everywhere now. No? Okay, yeah, we can cover everywhere, and so we will just let this, kind of tick up, and then see who else might want to join, but mainly just looking to lib Canada here. This is going to be a big war. We accrued a ton of infamy from going after Peru, Bolivia, and so this will be fine, that we are doing this, and going to have probably a pretty long war against the UK here. But yeah, living Canada and Australia so we can pull them into our customs union is going to be super nice. And yeah, let's continue on. So we see Great Britain abandon Peru, Bolivia. I was under the impression that if we put in a war goal against them, they were not allowed to do this. I don't know if this is a bug, or Liberate Canada stays in there. What the hell? This is a bug, because Liberate Canada shouldn't be in there. But I guess now we'll get to Liberate Canada, or it'll just be bugged out. Not sure exactly how this is going to shake out, but the Free SA, Free States of America, have joined, and we might want to liberate something from them as well. Look at this flag, though. So beautiful. Maybe we should just leave them alone. Leave Brittany alone. And so let's see what we can maybe put in on the Free SA. We could lib the Confederates. We could lib the CSA from them. The most cursed timeline. Well, if we liberate the CSA, then we will probably be able to puppet up the pieces, which is kind of what we've been trying to do with the USA, which is smaller and weaker. So I think we're going to go for libbing the CSA and go for the worst timeline in the United States. And maybe war reps as well. Well, actually, they won't have much war reps to pay out, so we're probably gonna just wait and see what happens at higher escalation. You know, we have a lot of rivals now. They declared a rivalry on us. I think we're rivaling them currently. And so, yeah, we also got to make sure our construction queue is getting filled. We have a lot of auto queues, like, kind of set up, but it is everything's starting to slow down because the stimulus from, you know, the investment pool transfer is starting to shrink more and more and more. We could come in and see that number here. You'll see that is multiplied by 0.6 due to our GDP being large. Eventually, it will be 0.3. Once our GDP is 2 billion, so as we approach that figure, there's going to be an economic slowdown. Also, just in general, there's going to be a slowdown as we exhaust resources, which aren't exhausted yet, but like kind of the best prime places to build a lot of these resources are exhausted, and so we'll put a whole bunch of resources in the queue to try and keep it going, but we are and also it's just hard to keep going because it's 7K now instead of like 2K, 3K, this sort of thing, where the auto queue can pick up a little bit more, but we'll keep it going. So we managed to pass wealth voting, and while we aren't very legitimate because our first election hasn't gone through yet, we might be able to sneak in passing rights of assembly with the fact that we have a pretty large political movement for it, and this will appease the political movement. It'll appease both of our agitators, and both of our agitators are agitating for rights of assembly, and so this will be nice, and it will also make the trade unions super happy. Their bonuses are super good, and so this is going to be super nice. We lose the industrialist bonus. We do make the scholar officials unhappy, or, well, they're unhappy from the other law pass. The literati are also happy. And so this is going to be pretty good. Bread, butter, ballot, you're telling me. We'll just do that one. And we do have this war coming in, and we unlock feminism, which is going to allow us to roll humanist agitators, which is going to be big nice, so that we can maybe go multiculturalism. Perhaps not necessary right now. Also just really like rights of assembly kind of pass right now, so we're going to get after it. We are escalating. Ooh, we forgot to put in extra stuff. Like, we could have put in some more stuff. It's not too big a deal. This is mainly what we wanted, but kind of just wasn't paying close enough attention there. Other things that we could have put in would have been war reps. I don't want to bust up the free states too much into like 1 million pieces, because I want to be able to, or we want to be able to, you know, go after the pieces and pull them into our customs union. So we want medium-sized chunks, not tons of tiny chunks. And so this war should be relatively easy. We also put a ton of resources stuff in the queue, patiently waiting for the Panama Canal to eventually finish. Perhaps we should actually, we're running a ton of bureaucracy right now, so perhaps we should actually increase our law enforcement institution and this, and this will turn out pretty well. And Peru-Bolivia starts off, and so we will want to land the free states, because this is how we're going to get in on them. Luckily, we can quintuple land them. Looks like we won't be landing them with anything that's too big. We should check where their capital is first here. So we're going to go and... Is it up here? New York? Probably. Yeah, it is in New York. We also could have maybe taken New York, but, yeah, it's, probably not. Probably a little gratuitous, to take New York. We can instead just land it and, you know, release it, because we might be able to pick it up after they release the CSA. They're going to be pretty small, and so once they're pretty small, we will be able to probably protectorate them, this sort of thing, in order to eventually pull them in. And we are just kind of landing with everyone, except for, I guess we're going to leave the 5 stack somewhere. Guelph and Djenne. There we go, and then we have this little 5 stack army that I guess we're going to put down here, yep, so this should be a fairly easy war. Maybe we should land Peru-Bolivia first, but we're going to try and make sure we get enforcement on both these guys, because if we enforce on these guys, then these guys will have be able to take us below 0, so That's why we're doing it in this order. Might be a mistake, but oh well. So I'm so excited for 1.5 because that way we won't get this random madness, which is really annoying, where we get a naval invasion, it succeeds, and then our guy immediately unassigns from the invasion itself, which is really an annoying mechanic. You know, it's annoying how that works, the front just randomly unassigning. We are probably going to be able to get a push into the USA here, and then with our 2 remaining stacks, I think we're just going to navally land here, kind of next to La Paz with Qing and Nalanji, kind of just talking a little bit through some of the ideas for... I forget which province we landed. Probably doesn't matter. I think we landed this one twice. That's the goal. But this way we will be able to get an enforcement on them as well. Hopefully our assignment heading on over is not going to make. We're just going to promote this guy up. This is one of the strengths of landing. You know, you can just promote the guys up once they get in. But we're going to lose this front because our guy unassigned, and maybe lose the game because it's lagging. I don't know, we'll see. If we do, we just obviously reload, so not a problem. We managed to unlock electrical railways. I know that that doesn't say electrical railways, but trust me, we unlocked electrical railways. So now whenever we are having an infrastructure problem, what we're going to do is we're going to just swap that infrastructure over to electric. Campaigning by rail, we'll do this one. So here we're going to take a look and at our infrastructure problems, our potential infrastructure problems, and this is kind of the way I like to swap it, where we look, hey, where do we have an infrastructure problem? We see we have one in Eastern Hubei, a pretty bad one actually, and we're going to swap them to electric. We're going to continue to do this to solve the problem, and this way we don't get everything swapping over at once, but we did prep, you know, being able to swap a whole bunch at once by overbuilding the electricity as we are researching electric trains, with the understanding that, you know, we are going to need a little bit more electricity, and so this will help out a lot. Goyas, did we already swap that? We're going to swap that. And see, the electricity is pretty expensive, so are the engines, but this is fine. You know, stuff getting really, really expensive means that you have opportunities for really profitable industries, right? So see the earnings here, positive over 1. You know, taking a look here, we see that Ili is a place. Now, Ili is over here. We are familiar with this. This is a little bit of the AI being stupid, because I don't think this place is... Oh, it's not too bad on the employment. Before it was just down in the dumps, couldn't employ anything. Do you have a lot of... so there's a lot of migration attraction here. Well, I think it's fine that we maybe put this on auto expand, and then what we're going to do is we're going to crank it up to 4151, and so this will allow it to be really big, nice. We are going to add a railway at the front to kind of help handle this, and turn them over to electric, which is going to help to make everything work. This is on auto expand, I'm sure. I'm just kind of taking a closer look at the state. Now, it is migrating, so some people will be coming here with the migration attraction, and they got some pop growth. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of places where there's just mass exodus from, and perhaps you know, a good heuristic would be we try and every place that has huge migration negative, we try and you know, build out, because they have a ton of peasants and unemployed, and this is because it happens a lot in the southern areas of China where you have the opium and the dyes, because these will be auto-producing, and what ends up happening is it builds over this arable land, causing massive unemployment. But yeah, so we will be swapping over kind of you know, piecemeal, and we will also be trying to find a few more places to put down new motor industries. That way we can help to look at these earnings. They're really, really, really high, but the earnings on electricity should be relatively high as well, and so maybe we'll find another place like Shandong perhaps, where we can just slap down a 51 and then put it on auto expand, because we are going to continue to ramp this up, and then knowing that they're going to need more infrastructure, we'll just swap this over to electric trains now. And so this is kind of what we're going to be doing over there. So our first election rolls in, the Agrarian Party wins, followed by the Communications Clique and the Empire Reform Association. A lot of names that are not normal names, so we're going to have to take a closer look. Communications Clique did well, Agrarian Party did quite well as well. So we'll see what better reforms we can maybe do. Doesn't look too good overall. We would want to put the literati in government, the Empire Reform Association, but I'm guessing wow, what is this about? There's a royalist and a republican in the same party. That is wild. But I'm guessing this is, for now at least, going to be kind of actually one of the more legitimate governments, and we can't, you know, maybe we can work something. Nah, the presence of a republican as well as this, they want the empire reformed, they want the empire out, and while we want the same thing, we want to move towards a parliamentary republic. We will need a little bit of help in terms of agitators, so maybe we want to start exiling people and trying to get stuff done. See, if this guy was not a royalist, we could maybe use him to try and do something, so we could maybe exile him. No, he's a general too. And we maybe want to keep our exiles for other stuff. Let's see. Well, we do have a bunch of, let's see what ideologies we have on generals that are, going to be, see, because we kind of would want people who are non-traditional, who maybe can, so we have, he's the royalist, and then we have an authoritarian, which we don't want, a pacifist. Yeah, we're just going to end up with another royalist, I think, if we do that. So I guess we won't really exile him. A little bit of a shame. We also could be ramping up construction a little bit. We did add a bit of construction. Why isn't it higher? I'm so confused. Is it still in the queue somewhere, just hiding out? I thought we added, oh yeah, it is still in the queue. So these construction centers will finish soon, and then we will be draining the economy a little bit more, which is, of course, what we want to do, just trying to stimulate things. We did get a landing in. This landing is starting to slow down a little bit, but I think we'll be enforcing relatively easy order. Maybe we'll conscript a little bit. One thing we are also doing here is we are finally turning on rail transportation on all of the mines at the very least. Now, we don't want to turn it on all the arable goods because we are going to incur massive unemployment because a lot of these places are just barely employing up. We might start turning it on in some of these places, but it's not going to be very profitable, and it's not like we're paying an enormous amount on subsidies for these railways, and so if we were paying a ton on subsidies, we would want to do it, but since we're not paying too tremendously much on subsidies, not going to do too many of them at once, but we see that the mines in particular are going to be greatly profitable by this because a lot of them are not in China anyways. They're kind of spread out all over the place. We will also be, I don't know when we got refrigerated rail cars, but we will be swapping those on, and we're going to be swapping Steam Donkey on. Is barely not profitable, but this is going to increase demand for coal and engines, which is going to make those profitable, and so it's like passing the profit from the logging camps, which are all already obscenely profitable, to coal and engine industries, which is, you know, fine, but overall, there's a lot of places where we don't have a ton of labor, specifically with logging, that don't have a ton of unemployment, which is less the case with this agrarian stuff, and so, yeah, we will be pushing a lot of demand, and the main reason why this is suddenly really good is because we are getting a ton of transportation, in particular, from the electric railways. We have mobilized also in a couple places, just a little bit of troops, or mobilized some conscripts, because we're kind of, you know, this is a little bit, it's a little bit slow, and so, yeah, we will be trying to get rights of assembly. It's a shame that we can't make, like, a legitimate-looking government that can oust the landowners. Maybe we step down, get this guy. So we have to, I forget the procedure for getting it so we can step down, but if we abdicate the throne, and then the other guy will have it. I think we don't do this yet because we'll wait and take a tick off of rights of assembly because these guys are big mad about that. But I think what we'll do is after the rights of assembly tick, if we don't get a positive tick because we want rights of assembly anyways, we'll maybe step down from government with this guy so that we can pull the rural folk in much more easily, become much more legitimate, and you know, try and make a block with the rural folk and the you know, literati and this type of thing. The problem is we do still have this royalist gentleman. So this is certainly not ideal, but we'll maybe be able to get something working here. Alright, we didn't get a good tick, so Homeboy's not very popular. He's going to abdicate to his Luddite son, which, you know, be like that sometime. We can either get 1% of all pops get loyalist, or 10% of aristocrats. We're going to choose the 1% of all pops. We're at 23.9 million currently. We'll see what that kicks us up to. But now, we can make a hyper-legitimate government. Hey, look at that. But let's see if we could, because they got so many votes, but we can also make a government here where we now have the literati firmly in place. And so we're going to cancel doing this, which is maybe going to make people a little mad. We might, since the literati are now in government, and this guy is a royalist specifically, and we kind of want republicans, what we, I think, will do here is we will promote one of these boyos, these nihilists, punks. Which one is more, they're both super loved, but we will promote them, we will grant them leadership, that way it gets rid of, the royalist. So now this guy isn't a royalist anymore, and now, which of course makes us less legitimate, which is not so nice, but now we can maybe go after this. Except it makes the rural folk super pissed. Son of a biznel. We really need to get rid of this royalist guy here. And the only way that we could really do that is... Well, so here's the thing. If we exile him now, there's more than one royalist that is, you know, in, So, let's see what... We have to read names. Son of a bizzle. So this guy is, Changlin Time. And so he is one of these guys, so... Or is it this guy? Okay, Shangzi. Changlin Shenji. And so we have to keep in mind, we wouldn't mind a pacifist, it certainly wouldn't be ideal. Oh no, he's Changlin Tame. There's two Changlins, man, that's confusing. But this guy, for example, we can, wait, why can't we exile him? Because he's in battle? Retire commander. He's currently engaged in battle. So maybe this is something that we can do after. Or in a little bit, while we need to get rid of, you know, the guy who's kind of blocking our ability to, swap on over. So maybe we should have even stayed on rights of assembly for, I thought we were going to be able to do it straight away, and we can't, not in the way we want, so, we could comfortably go total separation again. These guys will get super mad, but they don't have as much clout. This will boost up the intelligentsia. These guys are mad at us anyways, and the minus education access is certainly not something we like. And we could also, geez, we could even go Council Republic right now. Nihilists, I didn't realize Nihilists support this. Of course, we would not be able to survive this rev very easily. Yeah, I think it's just sit tight, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We could go women's suffrage. It makes the scholar officials and the Confucian scholars really mad. But do we really care? Is that enough clout to rev us? It might be. But if we're going to do that, we might as well just go this first, right? And these guys will not be enough to rev. So I guess we're doing total separation. You know, eventually we do want to get on to peasant levies, but... So we can't kneecap too much the scholar officials. Oh, maybe it was a mistake to retire, because now we're going to have trouble swapping on over. Unless we exile this guy. We could exile this guy. And then... Oh my god, I feel like I'm just foundering here. And then put this guy in, and then try and go professional army. But also, if we get a pacifist, I think the pacifists don't like... oh no, they also hate peasant levies, don't they? Yeah, the rural folks don't like this one. But... it only radicalizes the armed forces. Alright, well, I think we want to kneecap the Confucian scholars no matter what, so we're going to continue on and at least take a couple ticks off on total separation and see what happens here. I don't know, why is this extreme now? Well, we have to wait 700 days, but maybe it's extreme because we backed off of it. Yeah, because we canceled the law. And so we'd certainly be more than willing to pass it now, but a bit unfortunate. But we're going to get in here as well. So going to have... this war should be tidied up pretty soon here anyways. So we are having some trouble getting enforcement in. So what we have done is... we have decided to conscript an enormous amount of people trying to get everything through. We're going to favor the rural folk here. And that will hopefully help out enough because we do not want to somehow lose this war, which would be really bad. And it's not looking really good because we can't tick them below 0 because we haven't managed to get down onto the capital yet, despite having, you know, really big numbers advantages. And so we definitely should have conscripted a whole bunch a lot earlier. We might move some of these guys from the USA front to the Peru-Bolivia front because I think while we're not very close to enforcing on the USA, we might be kind of moving in the... We really need to get in on this, you know, kind of ASAP, and so we're going to shuffle guys around. We can move this guy around. We just need one battle to get in on it, but we're at 6.7, and we're decaying relatively quickly. We're decaying -2. They would be decaying a little bit faster. We're actually going to activate even more conscripts, because the amount you decay is contingent on, you know, the amount of troops that you have, and so this will also slow our decay, but this is kind of a little irresponsible of war in terms of, or mishandling of a war by me, which is making this really uncomfortable. Hopefully we can still win this. Peru-Bolivia is like notoriously hard to get in on, but this is what we're doing to try and handle the situation, and hopefully it turns out alright. We of course will begin the long, arduous process of swapping everything over to being publicly traded, which is, you know, a bit of a slog. Alright, so we are about to get a piece of the war goal. I don't know if it's going to be enough because we have ticked down quite low, but as soon as we win this battle, which is taking forever, we will have a piece of the war goal. We also, we have mobilized literally everything, so that is going to be incredibly annoying. We've mobilized literally every conscript, and then we got the unfortunate luck of these guys are having a movement against us. I think we're actually just going to back down. I think that them taking, you know, this little bit, these little sticks of land is not too big a deal relative to the fact that we're going to be fully conscripted for the entire thing, and this war's gone on quite a while, and maybe we just want to get another war. We're going to colonize them eventually. It's not like we're going to lose this land on a permanent basis, and so backing down seems not entirely unreasonable. So I think we're going to back down here, which is the first time I've ever backed down to a native uprising. I'm sorry. We didn't mean to colonize you, good sir. They're going to take all this back, and I think that they... Oh, do they... Are they a country now? Is that how this works? No. Yeah, they just take it back in. Yeah, so this is fine. I think we're also not allowed to... Oh, we can colonize there, but not in Baratose. But, okay, whatever. The point is at the end of this war, we do not want to be in conscription mode. And so now we are beginning to enforce on them. And so we'll see what we can get. Oh, it looks like they'll accept annexation, but not liberate CSA, except for now they're super close. And so maybe I was just super worried for no reason. I failed to annex... you know, Peru-Bolivia so many times that it's just very frustrating, and sometimes it just, like, doesn't go through. We, like, aren't even minding the queue. So, actually, well, we'll kick up the queue a little bit, and then we'll finish up this war. So we're just gonna do resources in places. Like, this will be good eventually, no matter what happens. So, mainly just looking to fill up the queue enough so that we can watch the end of this war and liberate Canada, liberate the CSA, and annex Peru-Bolivia. And now the moment of truth. Does Canada get liberated here? It does? That's hilarious. So UK wasn't even involved in the war, and they get lived. And this is communist America, so this might be the very most cursed America that we've seen so far. I think we're going to take a screenshot. This is America having a hard time. You know, a real hard time. But that is a funny one. So USA is having a hard time. We have annexed Peru-Bolivia. We're going to look for another war. We have a decent amount of infamy to work with. I think we were at... why can't we declare? We don't have a play with us. Oh my god. No. Why you do this? Why is there a native uprising right now? Or do we still have all the conscripts up is the question. We still have all the conscripts up. Literally every place is conscripted. This is really expensive. And so I think we just again just back down to this. Oh, we can't back down yet? I think we still do back down because we have so much troops mobilized. We can demobilize some of them, but it's not going to matter. What exactly are we going to lose in this play? God. Just that? Yeah, that's fine. I can live with that. We're going to colonize it back up anyways, so it's not too big a deal. We'll incorporate this territory, we'll back down, and then we'll start a war. I think we're going to call it an episode here, actually, before starting a war. We did back down, unfortunately giving up the dirt, but really, again, not a big deal in the slightest, because we're going to reclaim all this dirt anyways, because we are currently researching malaria prevention. We're going to get all of this, and it's just a matter of time. We do give up, you know, there is some, like, a non-zero amount of, like, buildings here that we had constructed, like, so now we don't have any of these sugar plantations or whatever, but we'll get them back eventually, especially as we colonize up and gain access to that. I think the war that we're going to start next time is probably dominioning Scotland, which will start a war with Great Britain and Scandinavia. Scandinavia is currently in our customs union, so maybe we don't want to dominion Scotland, but this is something we can do. We could also just annex something like this. I'm not even sure what the best war is. We did free the CSA, so let's start bankrolling them. Interestingly enough, I believe that they are not going to be slavers, right? Slavery banned, so that is kind of funny. But yeah, this episode, we mainly just had struggling with politics and, you know, a kind of big fight with the United States that was a little bit spooky that we almost lost. Here's the current state of the market. It's pretty big now. It's pretty chunky. We could dominion, for example, Mexico, which maybe is what we want to work towards, but it's going to cost 28 infamy, which is not a small amount of infamy. But Mexico is not a small country, so fair enough. But I think if that's the plan in kind of the longer term, maybe we want to do stuff like annex Sulu and Nejd, where it's not going to cost us a lot of infamy, and we can kind of make progress in that way. Especially Nejd, now that oil is starting to become a thing, and they have some available. We also really got to crank up construction. Maybe we'll just double it next episode up to 15k, and then we won't be able to play the game anymore, because it's not very stable. Or the performance is not very good when you start approaching those levels of construction. Culture check. Let's see if how well our Han cultures are spreading in South America. Pretty well. They are migrating out to these regions. Of course, it's still Han over here, which is, you know, how it goes. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You know, do the YouTube algorithm stuff. It does help me out quite a bit. And other than that, have a good one. Also, the window was open the entire time and no loud cars. Crazy.